Hello everyone, welcome to the Legacies of Success Annual Vision Night and Fundraiser. My name is Brendan Haggerty and I have the privilege of serving as the Executive Director of Legacies of Success. I want to thank you for tuning in this evening to watch. I wish we could be together this year, but to ensure the health and safety of all, we felt it was best to provide this short video update about our year of ministry. We are thankful for the support that so many of you have provided to Legacies of Success in this past year through prayer, volunteering, and financial support. Even though this is a pre-recorded video, I hope that you will interact with us during this event through the chat feature on Facebook. Members of our board of directors are watching and are ready to answer any questions you may have about our ministry. Because I know that some of you tuning in tonight might be unfamiliar with our ministry, I want to spend just a few minutes talking about our mission and work before our annual ministry update. Legacies of Success is a Christian housing ministry that seeks to love our neighbors in the North Hill neighborhood of Akron by providing opportunities for home ownership. Our ministry was started in 2011 because families in our neighborhood struggle to find affordable and decent rental housing. Many of our neighbors face increasingly high monthly rent from uncompassionate slumlords who are more concerned with profit than providing a great place to live. Feeling stuck, many North Hill families have to make the difficult decision to either stay and endure these realities or move out and leave behind their community, only creating greater instability in our neighborhood. While most North Hill families would love to escape this unjust system of rental housing through homeownership, many barriers stand in the way of realizing that dream. First, many North Hill families lack a history of homeownership due to limited economic opportunities and historical barriers to owning a home. This is especially true for the many low-income and refugee families that live in North Hill. Secondly, many homes available for purchase in our neighborhood are in need of significant and expensive repairs that are outside the budget and abilities of the typical North Hill family. Or if a home has already been fixed up by a house flipper, they are often unaffordable for low-income families living on a tight budget. Finally, because North Hill families often pay 50% or more of their monthly income on rent and utilities, it's very challenging for families to put money aside for a down payment or other closing costs. All of these factors make many North Hill families feel stuck as renters, which is a huge financial impact on low-income families in our neighborhood. Did you know that the average U.S. household wealth of a homeowner is 46 times greater than that of a renter? I was shocked when I read that statistic. And this gap in wealth not only affects housing, it also impacts the educational opportunities families have access to, as well as the level of health care they can secure. As a Christian housing ministry, we want to interrupt this unequal system that values profit over people and exploits the poor. Isaiah 1:17 says, "Learn to do right, seek justice, defend the oppressed, take up the cause of the fatherless, plead the case of the widow." Motivated by the compassion and love of Jesus, we strive to provide opportunities for North Hill families to become homeowners in hopes of revitalizing our neighborhood in Jesus' name. As we help meet this tangible need for better housing, we hope to be a light of God's love to our neighbors in North Hill, building bridges for gospel conversations and transformation as we work with our families to achieve homeownership. We accomplish this goal through two main areas of focus. First, we work to create affordable housing by rehabbing distressed properties in our neighborhood with the help of volunteers. Our renovations completely transform distressed homes in our neighborhood to address all the plumbing, electrical, and structural problems to create a rehabbed home that we would be willing to live in. Secondly, we partner with North Hill families to help them overcome the barriers they face to home ownership. We provide free financial counseling and mentorship as they work towards qualifying for a mortgage to buy a fully rehabbed home. We provide home ownership training to help them care for their new home and ensure it remains a great place to live. And in return, we ask families to be part of the rehab process by working alongside our volunteers on Saturday workdays. Throughout the whole process, we uphold the dignity of our neighbors and provide support as they work hard towards becoming first-time homeowners. If you're interested in learning more about our ministry, go to our website at legacesofsuccess.org. There you can read stories of the families we have been blessed to work alongside, sign up to volunteer on an upcoming Saturday workday, or make a tax-deductible donation to support our ministry.
I serve with Legacies of Success because Scripture calls us to love our neighbors as ourselves. And I think that this organization provides awesome opportunities of practical ways of doing that, of real tangible acts that show people the love of Christ.
I have chosen to serve with Legacies of Success over the past year because of their heart for the North Hill community. Through home rehabilitation and restoration, they are creating pathways to home ownership for many families in the area. And in that same process, they are also developing relationships with them to create discipleship opportunities and just helping them learn skills that are needed to live in the U.S. as they're coming from many different parts of the world.
There's many things that I've really enjoyed my time with Legacies, but one of the greatest benefits I think it has is giving back to the community. It's a great opportunity for people of all skills, from painting to drywall work to demolition, pulling carpet staples, to more skilled work.
The families who live in these homes and the neighborhoods, they're being restored, and they'll benefit greatly by the work of many. But each volunteer benefits also. Yes, at the end of the workday, my body might be a little weary, but my heart and my soul are satisfied in the work that has been done.
A few reasons I just love Legacies of Success. The first reason is they're in our backyard. I don't have to go overseas. They are helping the North Hill community, and I love that aspect. And the second is I love the fact that it's a very holistic approach. They're working with people, getting them out of the rental situation into home ownership, which I think is a great, the best dream that anyone could have is home ownership.
Last time I was there, I was pulling nails out of a ceiling, and you don't always think like, man, this is so big right now, but the reality behind it is that you're showing the love of God to others. These are loving acts. And at the same time, you're helping to revitalize and build communities and build into the lives of those who are going to live in these houses.
An old house becomes new again. A family comes to life again. They get their dream fulfilled. And that's really the core value that I think of in redeeming, and I think of Legacies.
If you have any free time and would like to donate your time to a local community, I would highly suggest getting involved with Legacies of Success.
I'm really proud to be a part of that, and I thank Legacies of Success for providing these opportunities and for really doing the work of Christ here on earth.
I want to take some time now to share stories of God's faithfulness in our pasture of ministry in North Hill, beginning with the story of Obedi and Amani, North Hill's newest homeowners. Obedi and Amani's search for a safe place to call home began many years before they arrived in North Hill. Originally from the Democratic Republic of Congo in Central Africa, Obedi and Amani grew up in a country ravaged by a civil war that has lasted for over 25 years. After refusing to join the fighting for many years, Obedi was kidnapped by members of a local militia in 2012, leaving his pregnant wife and 2 children uncertain if they would ever see him again. By the grace of God, Obedi was able to escape these violent men. However, he knew returning home would bring danger to his family. Instead, he fled to his home country as a refugee seeking safety, hoping to one day be reunited with his family. Unfortunately, when members of the militia discovered Obedi had escaped, they threatened violence against Amani and her children if she didn't turn her husband over to them. No longer safer in her home, Amani, still pregnant, left the Congo with her 2 children as they sought safety as refugees. After learning from friends that Amani had left the Congo, Obedi spent the next 3 years searching in 7 different African nations looking for his family, not knowing if his wife and children were still alive. All of this changed one day when he met a friend from back home while he was living in South Africa that knew Amani and their children were alive and living in a refugee camp in Zimbabwe. After calling the camp to confirm that they were staying there, Obedi made the difficult journey of over 500 miles to be reunited with his family. Unfortunately, when he reached the camp after weeks of travel, he learned that his wife and family had left the day before to travel to the capital city to fly to the United States, where they would be resettled as refugees. Heartbroken, but still hoping that he might be able to see his family before they left, he rushed to the airport, which was an additional 100 miles away. Thanks to the goodness of God, he arrived 2 hours before their flight was scheduled to leave. After years of separation, Obedi was finally reunited with his family, including his youngest son, Aruna, who he met for the first time during this visit. I had tears in my eyes when I asked him this question. Obedi, how did you feel at that moment? He reflected for a moment and he said, Brendan, that day was a good day. As a result of them being separated, Amani and their 3 children would be resettled in Akron as refugees without Obedi. It would be another 2 years before Obedi would join them in the United States. When he finally did, he joined his family in a small 2-bedroom apartment in North Hill that the family had lived in since their arrival as refugees. All 3 kids were crammed into one room in the apartment and had unreliable heating, cracked plaster, and poor security. When Obedi arrived, he knew that his family needed a better place to call home, but lacked any knowledge of how to buy a home in America. Thankfully, a friend of Legacies of Success referred his family to our ministry just as we had begun work on a distressed property on Chalker Street in North Hill. Our ministry acquired this home from an out-of-town landlord who had let the property fall into disrepair. The house had peeling paint, exposed electrical wiring, foundation issues, broken windows, and other unsanitary conditions. However, despite these obvious problems, the house was still rented out to a North Hill family only weeks before we took possession of the property. Once we purchased the home, we began the long process of restoring this house to create a home for Obedi and his family. Obedi and his children served faithfully week after week alongside our volunteers, painting, cleaning, installing flooring, and performing other tasks to help them rehab their home over the course of 6 months. During this time, Obedi and Amani enrolled in financial counseling to help them develop a plan to establish credit and a monthly budget to encourage savings. With Legacy of Success assistance, they shopped for mortgages with local lenders and received homeowner training to help them care for their home. Our ministry hosted an open house this past October to celebrate the completion of their home that was attended by past volunteers and was even featured on the front page of the Akron Beacon Journal. It was such a joy to celebrate this family and all their hard work to become North Hill homeowners after many years of seeking home. Shortly after they moved in, my wife and I had the opportunity to enjoy a traditional Congolese meal in their home. It was a wonderful celebration of their accomplishment and a great opportunity for cultural exchange. I want to share a short video of the rehab of their home so you can see this transformation unfold with the help of over 200 volunteers. Nice. Now I'd like to talk about the work we are currently engaged in on Keeney Street in North Hill. Work only made possible by the providence of God through the amazing generosity of our supporters. As we drew near to completing our work on Obedi and Amani's home on Chalker Street, our ministry began to look for our next home in North Hill. As we prayed about several different properties in the neighborhood, nothing seemed to be coming together. However, in the midst of this uncertainty, we received a call from a church partner who had a family that was looking to donate a house in North Hill to be used for ministry. What an incredible and unexpected answer to our prayers. The house was the childhood home of 4 siblings who had inherited the house after the passing of their parents. They couldn't imagine renting it out, but it required far too much work to be sold as is. Faced with the tough decision of what should be done with their childhood home, the siblings decided to honor the legacy of their parents' faith by donating it for ministry in the neighborhood. I had the opportunity to meet this group of siblings and hear great stories of how this house had been an incredible home for their family. And though they were sad that it wouldn't remain in the family, they were also excited to see how it would provide an opportunity for another family to build a great life together. When we received the home on Keeney Street, it was evident that it had been well loved by the family that had lived there. However, it was in need of significant updates to ensure it would be a great place to live for many years to come. In addition to cosmetic changes needed to bring the house into the 21st century, it also required a full overhaul of the plumbing system, significant electrical updates, and new windows and insulation. We began to host volunteers in November to start the renovation process in what has become known as the Blessing House. As we started our work on this home, we soon noticed that the house next door was vacant as well. After doing some research, we determined that it had been recently acquired by the Summit County Land Bank. This was great news because it meant that it would soon be available for purchase through a closed auction. As we prayed about whether or not to make an offer on this property, we were contacted by a family that had attended our annual Vision Night last year with the offer to purchase our next home and help finance significant portions of the renovation. Again, in the midst of our uncertainty, God provided abundantly for our work in North Hill, above and beyond our expectations. Due to the incredible generosity of this family, we were able to purchase the home next door on Keeney Street, the home I'm standing in, to create another opportunity for home ownership. We are excited to see how God will use these 2 houses to transform Keeney Street for His glory during the rest of 2020. As I wrap up this recap of our past year of ministry, I want to talk just a little bit about how our ministry and our families have been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. As a result of Governor DeWine's stay-at-home order that was issued in mid-March, Legacies of Success stopped hosting volunteer groups to help stop the spread of COVID-19. As a result, both renovations on Keeney Street were temporarily put on hold to allow for our ministry to focus on the families we have been blessed to work alongside. This meant helping families who had been laid off work navigate unemployment assistance and secure groceries and other essential products. Additionally, our ministry canceled rent payments for families during the month of April and extended grace for the months of May and June, hoping to alleviate the stress of unemployment and/or reduced hours. Legacies of Success began to host volunteer groups of less than 5 while requiring masks and gloves to be worn by all volunteers during the month of May. It was so encouraging to begin hosting groups again, and Lord willing, we will continue hosting small groups throughout the summer. I would ask that you continue to pray for us as we seek to stay faithful to our mission in North Hill while also valuing the health and safety of our volunteers and staff. It is in times of uncertainty that I am reminded of Hebrews 13:5 that says that God will never leave or forsake us. We take comfort from this promise knowing that what God has begun through our ministry, He will sustain and draw to completion in His timing. Knowing this promise of God, we look forward with anticipation to our next year of ministry in North Hill. Lord willing, we will successfully rehab our 2 homes on Keeney Street to create 2 opportunities for home ownership in our neighborhood. Additionally, one of our ministry goals for 2020 was to host Homeowner 101 classes in North Hill to have an opportunity for greater outreach into the community. These classes, offered quarterly, would help North Hill families who are considering purchasing a home in the neighborhood determine if they are ready to buy and then help navigate the home buying process. Unfortunately, many families in our neighborhood are often given bad advice from local lenders and real estate agents who are more interested in selling overpriced homes than helping families find affordable housing in North Hill. These classes would provide a way to assist more families each year through relational ministry and also help identify future families for our future homeowner program. Unfortunately, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, our first Homebuyer 101 class has been postponed with a future date to be determined. In the meantime, we have been working on creating resources to share with families who are interested in buying until we can meet in person with larger groups. Additionally, to allow myself to spend more time working directly with families seeking to become North Hill homeowners, our ministry plans to expand our staff to keep the rehab process moving. We have hired 3 part-time employees in the past year to help in our rehab process, 2 of which were North Hill residents. It has always been a long-term goal to create employment opportunities for North Hill community members, and we are hopeful that these two are the first of many community members who work alongside us as we restore homes to provide hope for the neighborhood. We hope to continue to add staff by hiring a worksite manager in the near future to oversee our building projects and to increase our capacity as a ministry. This will allow us to rehab an additional home each year and free up more time to work directly with North Hill families as they work towards home ownership. I want to thank you again for joining us for this short ministry update. I hope you've been encouraged by what God is doing in North Hill through Legacies of Success. Our work in North Hill is made possible by the support of so many from the greater Akron area and beyond. We depend upon the prayers of supporters who lift up our families and ministry before God. We rely on volunteers every Saturday to help rehab distressed homes to provide opportunities for homeownership. And we could not continue our work without the generous financial support we receive from so many each year. If you're watching this video and have supported our ministry in the past through a one-time or recurring donation, I would ask you to continue supporting us if you are able. You can make a contribution now by visiting our website at legacesofsuccess.org and clicking Donate. You can also send us a check to Legacies of Success at P.O. Box 4856, Akron, Ohio 44310. If you're watching this video and have never supported our ministry in the past, I would ask you to prayerfully consider how you might get involved with our work in North Hill. If you have any questions about how you might be able to get involved, please contact me via email at brendan@legacyofsuccess.org. I would love to find a way to use your gifts to continue building God's kingdom through providing affordable housing and opportunities for home ownership in North Hill. Thanks again for watching. Have a great night.